we forgive our family members so much more because they are our family. Should we be doing that?
You allow certain behaviours, absolutely, with people that you wouldn't allow with your friends because they're family.
My mother said I shouldn't, with Sarah and Michaela. Hi, welcome back to another episode of My Mother Said I Shouldn't with myself, Michaela.
You're making this more of a musical.
Oh!
every episode progressively getting more musical. We need a theme tune now.
Welcome to the... I'm singing that song.
That's a good song. And me, Sarah.
And Sarah Duncan is also here today. Cal O'Connell is here with RO Pictures, who are our proud sponsors.
Thanks, Cal.
Thanks for letting me sponsor you, I guess. Yeah, I'm very proud.
Oh my goodness. Right.
Oh no.
So
my mother said,
my mother said I shouldn't. So it's me today. So my mother said I shouldn't go against my family. And this is coming up because the whole Brooklyn Beckham drama.
Oh God.
Right? Going against, he's completely dropped his family, hasn't he? By like social media, putting up that statement. You know, that's pretty embarrassing for his family, which is kind of sad.
What are your so we've been following this as well. Jules has lapped this stuff up. What are your takes on this? What do you think?
I feel like it must have been really difficult to grow up being a Beckham. I must say, you know, when people will say, "Oh, you're joking," like they're so rich, but I think there'd be so many complications about what you could and couldn't do and restrictions because their name is their brand. You know, apparently, hasn't Victoria Beckham got like the intellectual property of the Beckham name or whatever it is?
I don't know.
Something like that.
Trademark,
that's it. Intellectual property, trademark.
Well, probably, because what's her fashion line called? Is that Victoria? It's called Victoria Beckham.
Probably.
So probably, yeah.
I don't
It's
actually
got a
know.
fashion
Yeah,
brand.
it is. Yeah. So I imagine growing up in that household must have been very, very tricky. But now he's married this girl whose parents are absolute billionaires, aren't they? And he's said goodbye to his family, which is just brutal.
Sounds like, he's had that. Now he's like, well, she's got more money. I'm jumping ship. I hope it was for love. I'm hoping it's for love.
I'm sure it's for love, but like, I don't know. You know what? There's people saying out there that, you know, they're accusing her of being a bit manipulative, trying to separate. And I know that when I was in a relationship like that, they try and get you away from your family. I'm not saying this is what's happening with her because I'm not going to like, you know, I don't know, essentially. But I do think it's very strange that he's pulled away from his family like that. Has he pulled away from his siblings?
I don't know.
It's pulled away from everyone, but his siblings that even stepped out and said what he said is absolute nonsense.
Oh, man. Did she not have her ex? Did that not happen with her ex? The ex said something that stepped away. I mean, again, I've not heard much. I've not actually researched into this, but I heard something about her ex that kind of took us distance from his family as well. The one she was with before. Cal, do you know anything about that?
No, I'd never heard of that one, but I am definitely of the camp that thinks there's a bit of manipulation going on there.
I mean, listen, I don't like the fact that anybody has to step away from their family. I don't like that. I think unless, if your family's been awful to you, they're not a good support, oh my goodness, like if they're toxic, absolutely. But your family's family, like you're like...
Yeah, but also I kind of disagree with that. Like, I get what you're saying with the toxic and stuff, but family is family. I think family is family can get people in very tricky waters, especially when family is not great.
Yeah.
When family is awful. And
I agree with that.
You know, like, I don't speak to my dad. I don't want to be anywhere near my dad. And I'm not going to lie, like, there's a part of me that feels a little bit guilty for that. I'm like, why do I feel guilty when he's not made any effort with me? Like, why am I feeling guilty for that? Because I don't want to be around someone who hasn't been a positive influence on my life and I don't think would be a positive influence on my life. And so many people are ridiculed and guilt-tripped into having relationships with family members that are not good for them. That's a problem that we don't address, and we forgive our family members so much more because they are our family. Should we be doing that?
You allow certain behaviours, absolutely, with people that you wouldn't allow with your friends because they're family, they're your family. I think it's a bit tricky though because your family have done so much, like, well, not everyone's family, my family.
But does that mean that we have to repay them?
I suppose in a sense it's you've given me everything. You've looked after me.
What's everything?
Everything as in anything I needed for the future. Like I've been put through university. Like me personally, like my mum and dad have, supported me financially. They've they'll check up. My dad will check up on me. I broke up. I remember I broke up with one of my boyfriends, and he just came in and sat on the bed, and he's like, everything okay? So like things like that, they've been there for your life. Like not everybody has that though, but the ones that do, like if you've like, and I can imagine Brooklyn's had that. Like from what it seems, again I don't know, but looking in, they seem like good parents. Like they really do love their kids.
But we can't say that. Can't say
You
they
can't
seem
say
like
that.
good parents because
And
you don't know what that lived experience
you
is
don't,
like.
and you don't know what the pressures that have been put on them have been like. But I do feel it's very unfair to completely cut off your family.
It's like Prince Harry.
But then
Another
he's
one.
been trying to come back in again, though, is he not?
I don't know, but for a while they drifted apart as well, don't they?
Well, they did, but then obviously there was a load of stuff going on behind that. But I think it's tricky. It's very situational. I suppose it just depends completely on the family. It depends on what stage in life that you were at. But for me, I think a lot of the time if your family have been there and supported you and loved you, your family's family. And like,
But how do you categorise that? Supported and loved? Because you're saying, they comforted me when I had a breakup and they've put me
that's just
through
one
university.
example.
Yeah, exactly. But some people, they may have experienced those things but still not felt loved.
Not felt loved. I think that's tricky then, because it's like, why have you not felt loved? I suppose what's been missing for you not to feel
Like
that love?
my mum openly has said that she never really felt loved by her mum. But having met my grandma, I wouldn't have said that in the way that she spoke about my mum.
Mm.
I don't know whether my sister feels completely loved by my mum. I don't know. Like, the lines are blurred because you've got your perception of what's happening.
Well, that's it.
Through your lived experience, but you don't know what theirs is.
Mm.
And then how does that manifest in the relationships that you can create? And there is this pressure, I think, to kind of allow things because it's family. It's family. And how honest are we with our family? I don't think we're particularly honest and say the things that we need to say with our family.
No, because then you've grown up with them knowing that there's the way they are, because they're certain. You know why you've grown up with them. I mean, you know exactly why they do the things they do. But I agree with you. Sometimes the lines are blurred when it comes to not saying things or doing things because it's family, or allowing things to happen because of that. But
do you feel like you've been guilty of that in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. I do that. But I do that with everybody, don't I? Like, well, all my loved
What do
ones.
you mean?
Well, my loved ones, I'll let things slide, because I'll be like, I understand where they're coming from.
What do you mean you understand where they're coming from?
So like if they say something that's like maybe it's upsetting to me or it's hurt me, I'll always be like, oh, but I understand what's happening. I know that they're feeling like this. They're feeling, I don't know, there's a lot going on in their head. They don't mean it. I know they love me, so it's fine. Like I will always, that's how I've always been and always worked. So yeah, I will let family and the ones I love, close people that I love, away with things that I wouldn't let strangers away with, or people that I don't have that connection with.
Could you give an example?
Sarah's looking at you like, why are you asking me this question?
An example, Cal.
Because I think I get where you're coming from, but my personal experience is really different to yours, and I'm really struggling to sort of imagine what that looks like in a way that I will find healthy.
So that would tell. So you would then forgive or allow someone, away with something.
Essentially,
that maybe
so.
You wouldn't like
I'll give you one example from my life. So I have 3 half sisters, and after that awful split up I had back when I was 28, which my life was effectively destroyed. One of my half sisters invited my ex-wife to her wedding. And I was furious about it, and I called her and told her I was furious about it for all the reasons that I assumed that she should know, and we fell out, and I didn't go to her wedding because of it.
Well, I agree with that.
Did your ex go to the wedding?
Yeah.
Oh, that's savage. That is awful.
Yeah, she did.
And now you're friends with the sister now?
I barely talk to any of them.
Yeah.
See,
we're so different now. Like I was once upon a time, and I know I'm taking off screen time here, once upon a time, I was absolutely adamant, especially when my dad died, that I would be the one that kept this family going, and we'd see each other, we'd be a family, and it just never happened. In fact, it quite disastrously went the opposite direction. And as soon as I started speaking up in favour of myself, advocating for me and what was right by me, suddenly I was the problem, and I've been more or less excised from a lot of things. Not like, oh, we're never going to talk to you again thing, but we don't really talk anymore.
Yeah, because they obviously saw you as someone who was very passive before,
Yeah,
and
easy.
didn't
Oh, no, I
stick up
was.
for themselves.
Yeah, no, I was. Yeah,
And as soon as you find your voice and start expressing
Yeah.
that, like I think my sister struggled initially. We're very close, always been very close, and we had this relationship where I would very much be a yes person to whatever she wanted and needed, and then I became a no person when I was in that horrible relationship, which distanced us. He told me, he was like, you're saying yes to everything, which, you know what, he was actually right, but he was obviously trying to cause an issue between us as well. And then after that, I was like, okay, I need to actually think about what I want, because ultimately I was saying yes all the time and then getting resentful for saying yes, and kind of felt like I couldn't say no, felt like I was on eggshells all the time. It created a bit of anxiety. I was sometimes scared that my sister might have a go at me, and then we'd have an argument, and then she'd fall out with me. And actually, since I've started speaking up and owning my voice, it did take her a little bit of time to adjust, because I think she was a bit like, oh, this is new. And I don't think that was, she didn't not like me speaking up. I think it was just, this is new. I don't recognise it. This is unfamiliar. I think that was the initial kind of reaction to it. But now we have such a stronger relationship, because I can be so open with her, really, really open, and she receives it. And I think she actually respects that I respect her enough to be able to tell her, because I think she thinks, okay, Michaela thinks I can handle the truth. And I think our communication has been better than ever, but it has been a process similar to you, Cal, and I'm sorry that you had to go through something where it wasn't so positive. But I think with my sister growing up, now I think we really do have kind of like that open communication where we can both be really openly vulnerable and transparent with how we feel, and I will tell her exactly how I feel, and I didn't used to. And maybe that in itself caused some turbulence in our relationship, because she might have sensed that I wasn't saying something and then reacted in a certain way, which would have changed her behaviour, so I think being open and having that dialogue is really important.
I also think it's important to have the person on the other side that you're actually having that dialogue with, that's actually wanting to make that change or wanting to do that. Because like Cal with your sister, like, that's horrendous. And to me, I'm like, that's not how a sister behaves. Personally, I'm like, that's not how a sister should be acting. You don't bring the ex to the wedding. My sisters would never do that. And I know, literally, I can literally say, I'd put £1 million down in front of you and say, I know none of my brothers and sisters would do that. So like, it just completely depends on the person that you're dealing with at the end, and how they treat their family and what their values are towards their family. So, and like your sister, she values you. Like, I'm not saying that Cal, that you weren't valued. I'm saying that just how your sister is and how she values family is very, very different.
Well, I don't think it was valued. This was the thing. It was just taken for granted.
But even to think that was okay to treat you like that, like that, no family member. Again, if my family member had done that, be honest with you, I'd be like, I'm questioning you now as a family, and I wouldn't give you the time and the love and the I wouldn't lean into it as much as my family, give them everything to my family. I wouldn't do that with someone that treated me like that.
Did she ever explain why she invited her?
No.
Never explained it. Just probably like, we got on. She was How long were you with her?
How long was I with
the ex?
5 years.
Not that it makes any
Well, I
difference.
had a child with her.
Yeah,
you know.
of course.
But there were, I mean, probably not too much different now. They were of the personality type where they don't like rocking the boat. They don't like upsetting people. So they're always trying to please. They're trying to please everybody. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And also, if you had a child with her, maybe she potentially is thinking, I want to make sure I'm still going to get to see the child.
Well, that was actually part of the conversation / argument. And I actually did turn and say, what are you talking about? She's my daughter. I will be bringing her. Why would she not be there?
So many problems happen over weddings, don't they?
Weddings are
weddings. Oh my God! I remember my mum fell out with her mum over the wedding because my nan and granddad wanted to stay over in my mum's house. And my mum's really weird about people staying in her house. Like when I was a kid, I couldn't have friends over. My mum's a little bit OCD. She's a bit weird with people being in her spaces. We'd only just moved into this house. We'd only been in there 6 months. This house was an absolute bomb when we moved in. Like everything needed changing. And my nan and granddad, my mum was like, they're expecting to stay here. And in my head, I'm like, well, why wouldn't? This is why I always love having people over because I never could have it when I was a kid. So I was like, why wouldn't you have your nan and granddad staying? Like, why wouldn't you have your mum and dad staying if we've got room? But my mum was like, you can afford a hotel, get a hotel. And they refused point blank to get a hotel. So they never came to the wedding and my mum didn't speak to them until I was 20 years old and I got in touch with my nan. So that was like 6 years, 5-6 years, they never spoke and then they got back in touch.
Isn't it sad? Because then they should just communicate. It's so sad.
And then
at that
but
point,
the gran and granddad didn't get in touch with me either. That was it.
But that's so sad, isn't it? That they didn't know. Like, if your mum, your mum would just. It's just hard because if she'd said to them, "Oh, by the way, I don't feel comfortable with people staying in. I've got a really weird, like, I just don't like it. Do you mind getting a hotel?"
But I don't think my mum even has that awareness.
Oh,
like, I think it for her, she's had so many issues in the past. Like her anxiety is like through the roof, like the stress in her body and the anxiety and the fear in her body, like it's not a safe place for my mum in here. You know, she's very, very quick to fire. She's very, very quick to attack because that part of her brain, you know, the limbic system, the emotional part of her brain is just like most active. So I think my mum struggles with that self-awareness. She's not been taught about like how the trauma has informed her behaviours now. She's not been taught about self-awareness. She's not been taught about emotional intelligence.
I think that's a lot of people in that generation though.
So many. And my mum obviously had that accident when she was 14 and lost, you know, words. She couldn't speak. She had to learn how to walk again. All her hair fell out. So she has been through a lot of trauma in the past. And I don't think she necessarily recognises. And also there's that owning up to an insecurity like that. I get anxious when other people are in my house. That is probably quite a big insecurity. And you might feel a bit stupid for saying it.
I was going to say, you might feel embarrassed.
You might feel embarrassed. You might feel judged.
Yeah. It's like with people
will
with
people
OCD,
understand?
it can be embarrassing.
And back then, no one understood this stuff, did they? Let's face it.
Mental health.
And
yeah, you're right. That's
Nan and Grandad, you know, they're of an age and an era where you just got on with it.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
There's a lot of things going on there, and I'm not even sure my mum recognised maybe why it was such a big deal for her. But with my mum, you know, I've even said it to you, like when I was at uni, I couldn't stay in the house. Yeah, it was just too much for my mum.
And did you understand why you couldn't stay?
No, and I hated my mum when I was younger.
So there we go. You've got the feeling of what
I had a very, very
felt.
awful relationship. Not an awful relationship, that's awful. I didn't hate my mum, but there was so much resentment. I had an anger towards my mum that I hadn't recognised. I got on with my mum, but I didn't recognise that there was anger there for feeling unwelcome in the family home, for feeling like I didn't have a home. Everyone else at uni was going home in the holidays and I couldn't. I had nowhere to go. I'd go and stay with my sister. My sister was amazing. She let me stay with her.
And when was it you started to realise then? When was it you started to notice, actually, hang on a minute, this could be actually something going on with my mum rather than just her not wanting me in the house?
When I started doing the work on myself. Honestly, that's when things changed. That's when I started feeling more empathetic towards my mum and starting to try and understand. So I started to ask her questions about what she'd been through and
How did she respond to that?
So the biggest change that happened was when I was 24. She came to Manchester to visit me and I was always the nice one, always the pushover, you know, and I went a bit mental. She came over and she just was expecting me to pay for everything and look after her. And I just thought, you cheeky, you've done nothing for me. Like from the age, and I hadn't had a penny from her from the age of 14. You know, I'd worked for my money. I'd never asked for anything from her. And I was like, and you come here, and I was so angry. And I had a go at her in the middle of the Arndale in Manchester. And I just went a bit mad, I'm not going to lie. And
Blowout.
I had a blowout, yeah. And she just said, I'm sorry. She said, I'm so sorry. Like, I never meant it. Like, I'm sorry. And I think that's all I needed. It was almost like it reset my nervous system in that moment. And I was like, okay, I can breathe again. So that was the first thing that happened. And then obviously after the abuse that I went through, I had to face some of these really harsh truths that, me not feeling enough, why do I feel that way, what are my insecurities, feeling abandoned by my dad, not loved by my mum, feeling like I was the issue. When you're a kid, you feel like the issue, you put all kind of like those things, it's got to be me, I have to be the problem. That's how kids grow up feeling, I'm walking down the street, my dad doesn't want to know me, my mum, I feel like an inconvenience to my mum. I feel like she doesn't want me in the house. She's desperate, obviously, to find a man because she thinks they're going to save us. I just think all she cares about is a man. I hear my mum get abused. I hear hostile upbringing environment. Mum struggling, but I obviously saw my mum's pain, but not to the point of that I could empathise to the point that I can now. And I suppose it wasn't until I started working on my own head and facing my own insecurities and becoming accepting of them that I could actually see hers. And it's been a long process, and it's been a process of really understanding, and I've battled with it until I would say recently. Now we have the best relationship that we've ever had, and the only thing that's responsible for that is that I have no expectations of my mother anymore, other than that she loves me in her way, in the way that she can, that makes her feel safe, and I accept that. And she's always there when I call her. If I need support, she will be there. She will pick up the phone. She will always be there for me on the other end of the phone. Sometimes she might not want me in the house if something's happened and she's filled with fear. I was supposed to see her yesterday and she couldn't come because they'd had a car accident. Norman had hit a van, and obviously Norman's in his late 80s. So I said, I can come round. She went, oh, no. She didn't want me to come round, and past me would have gone, that's about me. Now I go, that's about her. Yeah. It's not safe for her right now to deal with anyone in her safe space. Not while Norman, her partner, who's 80 odd, has had this accident and is feeling unsafe himself. So she's trying to protect her safety net. I get that now. I don't take it as but previously, I didn't get it. And it felt personal. But not everything is about you. And I think that's what I've started to realise. It's not about me. If you're experiencing pain, it might get projected onto me, but I don't have to take that pain into my atmosphere. My atmosphere can remain clear. I don't have to take that on. I can see that as your pain and separate myself, my worth, my identity from that. But that's been a long process.
I think you do that with life, really, with everything in life.
Oh, yeah, with everything.
I was going to say,
and every relationship that you have.
Friendships, work relationships, everything. Like, it's not about us as an individual. Yeah.
No.
But it's interesting because you think, I suppose, then you've managed to work through that, and you've managed to recognise things in your mum and just accept, okay, I love you, you love me, that I don't expect anything else from you. I suppose the people that can't get that don't think even maybe that the love's not there, they don't even think that they're getting love, then that's why you might walk away from your family and say, do you know what, this isn't working for me. Or if you feel like there's nothing, literally you've not, I don't know, if you've not done that work and you've just seen all the hate and then decided to block them. I don't know.
My mum isn't a negative influence on my life, I would say. Like, she doesn't show up as a traditional mother. But for me, that's like extra. She shows up, she loves me, and I know that. She doesn't do the additional stuff that some people would perceive as normal. I don't accept that. I'm like, all I can ask for is unconditional love from my mum and for her to be there. And I think in the past, because there was a void in me that didn't feel enough or didn't feel loved, and because I filled that with myself, like that void is now gone, so now I don't need her to do those things so that I feel loved. I can just accept what she offers. Like I even said to you, and it was a moment, because obviously there was, with the engagement party and stuff and her not being able to come and stuff, that was a moment I had to get through. And then I even said to you, I was like, for the wedding, I wouldn't be upset if she couldn't come. And I remember you saying, what? Like if your mum said she couldn't come to the wedding, you wouldn't be upset. And I was like, no. I've got to the place where I don't expect anything from her. And I know that she loves me and she can give me what she can give me. And I accept that. But she doesn't bring any drama into my life, my mum. My mum never like puts anything on me. She never makes me feel rubbish. You know, she's not a drinker. She doesn't do drugs. She doesn't ask for money. You know what I mean? So in that respect, she keeps herself to herself.
Yeah.
So I don't have that experience. And I think if I had that experience, it would be very different.
Yeah.
Like if she was a negative influence on my life, that could...
Like toxic.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
it's toxic, then lines, I get why lines would be drawn.
Yeah, exactly. And I can totally understand why some people would choose to separate themselves from that.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose...
We never spoke about your example.
Oh God, I thought I got away with that. I'm trying to
brushed
think,
it
what
under.
was the question? My example
So
of...
when like someone might say something and you brush it under their thing because you can kind of explain that it's come from a certain place.
Okay,
something.
thinking of examples, it might be... it might be about like where I'm at in my life, my career.
So when
that
family
kind of stuff,
say
they comment on
things-
stuff like that, yeah, and they're saying things, and I know they're saying it because they love me, they want me to be okay. They're not, they're not going to be here forever to help
they're
me
trying to
if I
protect
fall.
you.
Yeah, they're like, they just want me to be secure, and I know that. So I suppose when they say certain things, I'm like, right, okay, I'll take it. Whatever, I know where you're coming from with it.
But what's the effect on you? Like, does that still hurt, and does that still...
Do you know what? I think the more work I've done as well, like it used to, majorly, and it'd be thinking that I thought I was, God, I'm not successful in life. I'm not doing life right. I feel like I wasn't doing life right because I didn't have the 9-to-5 job. And other family members have said, about you've not got the 9-to-5. I feel
That's
like
an
I'm not
episode
doing
in itself, innit?
That is right. But I feel like if I'm not doing it, so it kind of made me think, do I need to live my life a different way? But I couldn't anyway. I was like, my heart is telling me I have to be on this path. Like that's the path I'm going to be on. But now where I'm at, I know I'm like, well, I fully understand that it's your fear. That's your fear. And I don't have to take that on. And it's still, it is sometimes you still work through it. Like every day you're working on things like that. But I don't know, like I understand, I'm getting it. I get where it's coming from. I've always understood where it's come from, why they said what they're saying. Actually, have I? No, not always. Sometimes I just thought that, they just needed to be that way just because that's how it's supposed to be. Society says that. But actually it's like, no, I know where it's coming from, and I can understand it. But if I felt it was malicious, if I thought it was malicious with anyone in my life, even if I loved them, if it was malicious, then that's a different story.
Do you think the love that we have for our family and friends, though, can alter whether or not we believe it's malicious? You know what I mean? Like, we believe someone loves us, so of course they didn't mean it in that way. We can almost excuse them so that they don't have to be accountable.
Yeah, I suppose that
because you feel safe with that.
well. Like if you fall in love with someone and
But we do it in relationships as well, right?
Yeah.
This is the thing. So like, they do something to hurt you, but you go, but they love me. They would have never meant it like that. So you don't actually bring it up. And then how far does that go?
I think, I am. Yeah, you do that. And then I suppose if you're not voicing it, you're not also letting them, I suppose, things that we've done and spoke through, and you're not letting them know, actually, hang on, just so you know, that just hurt me. I don't know if you realise that or not, but so I suppose you just put your own emotions aside, which is what you tend to do with family, isn't it? Like, put
Why
it
are we
aside,
so
it's fine.
scared to tell people when they've hurt us?
Rejection.
And also you don't want to hurt them, which is crazy, right? So if they say something that's hurt you, you don't want to say something that's going to hurt them in return. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to upset people. I don't want to make people
Why
feel
don't you
rubbish
wanna
or
hurt people?
I just don't. I don't want to make people feel sad, because I know when people make me feel sad, it's not nice. I don't want to put that on someone. I never want to put that on someone. Nobody does, right? Well, unless you're like a psychopath. Like there are people out there. But I don't want to put that on someone else. So I will hold that back. If I can save you from that pain, I will. And that's just literally...
You're saving them from a moment of pain, but a lifetime of growth.
Yeah, it could be growth. It is.
Well, it's the potential of growth, isn't it?
It's the potential of growth. And I suppose it can, yes, you can absolutely help them grow. Some people aren't in place to grow. Some people aren't in a place to absorb
Is
that.
that your decision or theirs?
They see that as an
Is that your decision or theirs?
Well, that's my decision, I suppose.
That's your perspective. Yeah.
Also, what you're teaching them about boundaries as well. Like,
you're basically saying, I don't trust you with this truth. This truth will destroy you.
I mean, you could be saying that, but you could also be saying, I don't want to hurt you. There's different. I get that you could say, absolutely, I don't want.
But you are hurting them by allowing them to continue a behaviour that isn't helping them create strong relationships, and it's causing pain to the people they love. Protecting them from that information isn't helping them. Is it?
I think it could. I think definitely in some certain, it could definitely help. Like in things I have, I have brought things up if I felt like that's too far. Like I'll be like, okay, just let's have this let's chat. But if I felt like it's going to hurt them more and they're not in a space, like they're already feeling rubbish or stressed or anxious and they're not in a space. How they're acting. You can if someone's stressed or you can tell you can tell with someone's physical body and they say something.
Case, would you bring it up to them when they're in a better space? Or would you the time's passed, okay, we'll just leave it. We'll brush it under the
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It completely depends. It depends. So if say with my mum, then I would and I have. But I'll do it when it's time's passed and okay, you're
fair enough,
calm. Yeah. But no, I haven't.
So I guess what you're saying in the
everyone.
moment when emotions are high, it's not time to have those conversations. I think that's important.
I don't think personally, no. And also then I don't want to be, I think it's hard as well because I don't like confrontation. Like I don't think anybody really likes confrontation, but I struggle to have those difficult conversations that if someone's already hyped up and and then you jump on that, you are going to get whereas if I come to you and have a conversation when you're more okay, we're both now on a level, by the way, can I just bring this up, it might go but it's not going to go blowing off the roof. So I suppose it's
absolutely.
Like trying to manage that and not bring up.
But it's whether those conversations happen, because you said earlier, I'll let things
sometimes
slide.
I won't. Yeah, I do. I will let things slide because then things pass and you think, oh, it's fine. I understand that. I know where they were coming from. I know why they did what they did. It's fine.
And I think we're all guilty of that.
Yeah.
But I guess in my head, I'm kind of thinking, I'm like weighing up. Who am I to make that decision of what's right for you? Who am I to make that decision of what I think you can handle and what you can't handle? Who am I to protect you? And this was what I used to be guilty of. I would protect people and not put my trust and faith in them. I'm taking away your autonomy and your self-trust and your ability to make decisions on your own and to grow and to fight for yourself and fight your own corner by protecting you. That's what I've been guilty of in the past. So I'm asking you these questions because I've battled with this myself.
I mean, I think I do. I think I get that. I suppose it's the perspective that you come on, because I would never, in the past, I would never ever look at that and be like, oh, I'm stopping you from developing. I would just think in that moment, I'm helping you, I'm protecting you, and I'm going to keep you, it's fine. I'll take it. I'm going to take the hit. And you're going to be fine. So, but I suppose it's looking at that, if you're not helping someone grow by not saying that, by not saying what you're thinking, because I suppose it's then you're trusting yourself that your emotions actually are valid and, what you're saying.
You're saying you're stronger than them. I'll take the hit.
Yeah, I'll always take the hit. I'd rather take the hit than someone else. Yeah. And I don't know if that's just like a thing, my way of protecting people. But
You're protecting yourself?
No. No, I'll always take the hit. I'll always take the hit, but then I suppose I'm like, oh, it's fine because I can just and dissolve it, But you're right, that builds up and builds up and builds up, and not everybody can dissolve it. You can't always dissolve everything, and then what does that create? So yeah, I think it's definitely it's interesting to take the perspective of that, because I think there'll be a lot of people out there that do that for their family. Just it's fine, brush it under the carpet. I love you, protect, done. But it's interesting then to flip that around, like you just said, and see the perspective.
And it piles up. Every hit
preventing you from growing.
Yeah, and every hit you take from them, not only are you preventing them from growing, but there'll be something inside of you. There's a rebound for that. There's whether that's resentment, whether that's feeling like you're not good enough or you're not loved as you are, or X, Y. There'll be something. There'll be a rebound that happens inside of you for all of those hits that you've taken, because you've just said, then I'll take that. I'll always take it. I can even hear it in your voice. I take it for you. I protect you. I'm wondering, if we keep doing that, ultimately what happens and what does that lean into?
What does that
But
create
oh my God,
in you?
it's a huge question.
It is huge, but it's interesting that you've done it though. It's interesting that you've lived through that, and then you've now.
I'm still living through that. I don't think
I was
I've
gonna
got
say
it
it's like a
perfect
lifetime
either.
thing, innit?
I don't think
Yeah.
I've got it perfect
Yeah.
either. These are questions that I'm battling with, you know, and that I'm still working through and still trying to figure out how to balance, how to be there for someone, be there for myself, balance empathy with assertiveness, balance love and giving and being generous to receiving and saying what I need and taking. You know, it's still an ongoing process. But we'd love to know your thoughts. This was a very in-depth conversation about families.
I was going to say, and should Brooklyn have left us part family? Should that have happened?
Should that have happened?
You know, why? We don't know. We don't know the answers. We don't know the story, but we hope both people are okay. Well, Brooklyn and his wife and the Beckhams. Hope you're all right.
But let us know your thoughts. Would you walk away from a family? Should you turn your back on a family? Let us know your experiences with the families and with your family if you feel like you can in the comments below. And if you like this episode, please like, share, forward to your friends. And thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it. Have a beautiful day and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.